Okay, guys, I know I look the same as I did yesterday, and I don't care because I actually haven't slept yet, really. But anyways, so I knew this episode was coming out um, early in Nova Scotia time, and so good morning, and how are you guys? Um, so, anyways, the episode. It's so basically it's going to be a podcast, right? It's from the Globe and Mail, and it was one. On Jack and Lily. Now there's nothing groundbreaking, but there's definitely some tidbits in it. But it's just again, another piece of a reminder about these two beautiful children that are missing, and their names are Jack and Lily. And Jack and Lily disappeared May 2nd of 2025. We're coming up to the 5-month mark soon enough. And it's a really sad case. You guys know that, right? Good morning. Good morning, all. I'll just quickly do a few hellos and then we'll get on with it. Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Good morning. Hi, Skull. The early bird catches the worm, they say. Yep, I was waiting for my husband to go to work. And then I was like, and yeah, he was like, do you want to snuggle? And I'm like, don't you need to get up now? Don't you need to get Ben? That's what I said to him. For you, Ben, because I knew you were going to be here, obviously. Not. Anyways, so I was just waiting for him to go to work. So I was sitting there since like 12, just after 12:35, I think. And I was waiting for the podcast to come out. And it came out at 2 in the morning. And so I listened to it first. I actually did listen to this first, actually. And then anyways, and so I was just waiting for him to go to work and do my live. Sorry, husband. Love you. Anyways, nice to see you guys here this morning. Don't forget to hit that like and share for Jack and Lily, please. I know that when I was looking at it, there's only a few people that actually hit the like button. And again, it's really just all about keeping the awareness of the missing and the murdered. And Jack and Lily would appreciate it if you'd hit that like. I can tell you that. They need answers. We want answers. And there's just this case is what you would call one of those nightmare from hell cases, really, of what we've been watching happen in this case. Everything that you would think would happen in a sense. Well, I mean, there's tons of cases where, people lie all the time, right? They didn't do anything, not guilty, whatever. And, a lot of people, like I said, there's lots of cases, but Jack and Lily just need answers for this. And again, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? Bring awareness and keep Jack and Lily's names and be their voices. Oh, wow, I fell asleep with you and now I have to start my day. It sucks to be you, okay? Just sucks to be you, but you have to, okay? Somebody twisted your arm, forced you to come in here this morning. I can feel it. Good morning. Hi, Nova Nana. Bezo Jones. How are you? Hi, Lisa. Honey, good to see you in the morning. Yeah, I mean, it's my day off today. And then I can't do a live tomorrow because my twin sister is, it's the last day I'll see her tomorrow before she moves. Like, she'll be moving on Thursday to Alberta. So I got to spend tomorrow definitely with my sister, even though she's going to be packing up the bin or whatever you call it. Good morning. Good morning, Louise. How are you? Charmaine, I missed her yesterday, and then she was on the live, and now she's just back to being a troll again. Aren't you, Charmaine? Okay. Hi, Squid. How are you? Okay. Let's see here. Hi, Renee. How are you? And Sesame. Ooh. Now you're just making me hungry for those sesame seeds, to be honest. I love those things. Hi, support with Steppa. Hi, beautiful. Hi, Darlene. There's Kent. Wakey, shake and bakey. I know it's like 5:42 in the morning here, guys. Let's see. Hi, Polar. How are you? Yeah, early bird. The early bird gets their worm, right? Okay, so nice to see you guys here. This episode is 35 minutes long. So I'm just gonna play it right out, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna stop and start and stop and start and stuff like that. Morning, Jen. Just gonna play it out and look at your guys' comments as I'm playing it out and go with it, okay, you guys? So let's gotta take Jack and Lily down. Sorry, kiddos. And bring you up to stage. Okay, guys. So of course, the disappearance of Jack and Lily, it's by Globe and Mail. Lindsay Jones and Greg Mercer are the ones that are talking in this episode. If you guys know Lindsay Jones, that's the one that did, like the big article with Belinda, and this channel's name was mentioned in it. And that's the one that came out and was talking about, all the different goings on. So, that's when remember they did the documents and stuff like that, and they put out a bunch of information. So anyways, Lindsay Jones, thank you very much. Greg Mercer, well, I know you're not the biggest fan of YouTubers, but whatever, you'll come to love us. You'll come to understand that, takes a lot of people to bring awareness to cases. We all know that the news, covers the story, but in a different way. And we do it in a different way, right? And we can, because we have the ability to. So with that being said, you guys, again, I'm just going to play it out. It's 35 minutes long. Please hit that like and the share for Jack and Lily, of course. And I'll just make it bigger, take myself off the screen for a bit, and then I am going to hit play. So resume.
My name is Lindsay Jones, and I'm the Atlantic reporter for the Globe and Mail.
I'm Greg Mercer, and I'm an investigative reporter for the Globe.
Lindsay and Greg have been reporting on the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan. The two children went missing on May 2nd, 2025, from the rural community of Lansdowne, Nova Scotia.
I was working on the Sunday shift at the Globe and Mail, and the children had gone missing on Friday. When I first heard about it, I thought, most cases of missing children that we hear about are wrapped up within a day or within a few hours when kids go missing. By Sunday, when I started my shift, the children still weren't found.
And to this day, they still haven't been found. Their disappearance and the massive efforts to find them has become a national news story. So today, we have a special episode of The Decibel. Lindsay and Greg will take you through the active investigation, what they've learned, and we'll hear from some of the people closest to Jack and Lily.
I was first involved in the reporting a few days after Lindsay. She was on the ground doing a lot of great work, and I was asked to basically come and assist her at first from afar, and then later joined her in Nova Scotia. On a story like this, it's often helpful to pair up, especially when you got somebody who's doing the labor-intensive stuff like driving around and trying to find people. We've been at it ever since.
I'm Cheryl Sutherland, and this is The Decibel from the Globe and Mail.
The first thing I did was try to understand what was happening on the ground that day. So we learned that Jack and Lily are two siblings. Lily is 6 and Jack is 4. And they were living in the home of their stepfather's mother. So it's a trailer in the community of Lansdowne, which is about 100 people in a remote area with no cell phone service in Pictou County. I also reached out to both parents. Malaya is the children's mother, and I got a reply from Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather. And Daniel and I got on the phone that afternoon, and we had quite an emotional conversation.
Can you take me through sort of what happened? Like you guys heard the kids playing in the morning, and how did that go?
Yeah, Lily came into the room multiple times. I mean, me and Malaya and the baby were just in the bedroom. And Lily came in multiple times, so I seen her that morning. And Jack was out playing in the kitchen, I'm guessing, and they slid open the back sliding door. It's almost like silent to hear it slide open. So they slid it open. The boots were right beside the door, and just proceeded to, I'm guessing, play outside, and then they must have just got out to the back fence, and then they were gone. As soon as I seen that they were gone, I immediately jumped in the car, did all the dirt roads, did all the culverts, checked over the rivers, streams. I did everything. I did anywhere the vehicle could take me. I did.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got back home, like 10 minutes later, I immediately went out and fought till the officers got here.
What were the conditions like in the woods when you were running?
The conditions are thick. My cousin said that she talked to some searchers, and they said they've been over on 500 different searches, and this is one of the hardest ones I've ever seen.
What makes it so difficult? Is it the thick woods, or what is it?
Very thick woods, train, elevation throughout the train.
Okay.
It didn't matter to me though. I was going up through water up to my waist, and the helicopters were just sitting there watching me, hovering above me.
So all three adults that were on the property at the time the children disappeared have the same story. Malaya has said virtually the exact same thing Daniel has said. And Daniel's mother, Janie McKenzie, also told police she heard the children playing in the yard that morning.
So police essentially began a massive search and rescue operation initially. Within the next following days, hundreds of people were brought to this part of Pictou County and began searching the forest. It's a densely wooded area with a lot of mine shafts. It's abandoned mines. Difficult searching. They were aided by guide dogs and helicopters and drones. A lot of people scanning out in a grid around the home, found no trace of the kids. And then we learned that the day after the children were reported missing, that the RCMP's major crime unit was brought in to take on the case.
One thing the RCMP are emphasizing is that all options are part of their investigation right now. It is a missing persons case. It remains a missing persons case, which can pivot to a criminal investigation.
Well, the key thing is they haven't found the bodies of these children, right? It's difficult for there to be criminal charges without the bodies of the children being discovered. No one who's been involved in the investigation is pretending that the kids are alive somewhere. They don't seem to believe that theory at all. So they're trying to find the bodies. And until they do, it is difficult for this case to go to that next step.
The day after the children went missing, that Saturday of May 3rd, there was an argument at the home between Malaya's family members and some of Daniel's family members. One of Malaya's family members hurled an accusation that Daniel had something to do with the children's disappearance. And this stemmed from discussion about meth use in the home. Daniel told me about the fight on the first day I met him. And I also learned that his mother, Janie McKenzie, kicked Malaya's family members off the property. After that point, at a briefing, a police update that Daniel and Malaya attended together, Malaya left the briefing in tears. And when Daniel tried to speak to her alone, her mother would not let him. And that there was also an altercation there that resulted in Malaya leaving with her mother, cutting off contact with Daniel, and the two have broken up. She's changed her Facebook status to single, and she has not come back to the community.
We had been asking him questions about these allegations of drug use, and he responds essentially saying, look, he's got nothing to hide. He acknowledges he's done meth and other drugs in the past, but he doesn't struggle with them. And the way he explained it to us was he was attending Narcotics Anonymous essentially to clear his name.
What do you make of all of the speculation that's going on? So many people were waiting.
Well, I can already tell you the drug party is absolute bullshit.
Yep.
And I even asked the RCMP, give me drug tests. I asked CPS, give me drug tests. Yep. They said, no, it's not a concern. We're not going to do that. I even go to Narcotics Anonymous. Okay. I do everything. Like I go to 3 times a week just to clear the air for all that bullshit. I mean, even when it comes down to Jack and Lily, I'm the only one from both sides of the family that is actually doing anything. I'm doing media all the time. They probably refuse to do media with you guys, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're not
yeah, they won't do anybody.
We learned through our reporting that Nova Scotia's Child Protection Office had been contacted by the kids' school out of concern about the way they were showing up at school. We don't know the specific details of what the concern was that prompted that call, but we do know that that caused a child protection worker to go to the children's house and interview their parents. And this was in the months before their disappearance.
I was looking through the Facebook page of the children's school to understand what their school life was like. I was really just curious about the types of things they did at school and, you know, what their lives were like there. And I came across a photo of Jack with a black eye. And so that photo was dated December 13th, 2024. It was 5 months before he and Lily disappeared. I asked Daniel how Jack received the black eye in December, and he didn't respond. But in private Facebook messages that were shared with me, he acknowledged that Jack had many black eyes. He said Lily even had a black eye when Jack and Lily disappeared from an incident that happened on May 1st, the day before the children went missing. He said a Tonka truck that she pushed down on swung up and hit her in the face.
We know that Scott Armstrong, Nova Scotia's minister responsible for child welfare, has looked into this case. He will not discuss the specifics of it, but he says he's cooperating with the police. And if there will be a time when we can question how the system responded, he will discuss that publicly. But he said for now, he wants to focus on getting a resolution and finding these kids. But there's a lot of questions about how the system may or may not have missed warning signs around the home life of these children. And we do know Nova Scotia is one of the few provinces in Canada that does not have a child and youth advocate. And that is a specialized position that can look at how a child welfare system acts and where it fails and where it has flaws. And there's a lot of folks who are saying, maybe this is time that Nova Scotia get one and improve the way that it handles child welfare. And that's the shame of the story, is that there were people who were concerned about what they saw, who tried to do something about it. And while it's unclear how the system responded, we know the child protection officer went to the house and talked to the parents. You know, so the system in some ways did try to act as it should, but this is happening in an environment where the child protection system in Nova Scotia appears to be very broken. So there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered about what exactly happened after that visit to the kids' home before they disappeared.
Well, 4.5 months later, after Jack and Lily disappeared, the country is baffled. And frankly, the online community is obsessed with what happened to Jack and Lily. There are so many conspiracy theories. There are a lot of theories as well, based on some of the facts, some of the interviews that have been out there. And all of it has just led to this voracious demand in the face of what really is a vacuum of information from police in the case. All of a sudden, there's more vehicles coming through the area, people slowing down in front of homes, taking photos, sending up drones. You know, for the people in the community, it's become unnerving in other ways. Daniel's father, Earl Martell, for instance, has been followed and, you know, videoed, had an altercation, a verbal altercation with an online creator. This same online creator showed up at the home of Malaya's mother, pretending to buy a horse trailer that was advertised online, and surreptitiously recorded a lengthy conversation with Wade Paris, who is Malaya's mother's partner, about the case, and then posted that online on TikTok. And like, it's totally different from the rules that we subscribe to, that we adhere to as journalists. And that became fodder for many YouTubers who have dedicated their shows, their crime shows, to solely focusing on Lily and Jack.
So people are very cagey of the media and outsiders driving around, looking at, you know, the so-called crime scene, or, you know, the scene of where these children went missing, and it's created a lot of suspicion in the area.
It jeopardizes investigation, right?
People have already made up their minds.
Yeah, I know.
What is that like?
Well, I get
community.
messages every day. People still call me child killer. You killed the children. Where are the bodies? I get that every day. I can show you guys, and it's absolutely disturbing what people say.
People are sending you Facebook messages?
Yeah, constantly.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Constantly. I just ignore them.
What do you want those people to know? Those folks who are reaching out to you? Are these strangers? Are these people that know you?
No, they're all strangers from all over the world. It's
Really?
worldwide, yeah.
And just sending you a message on Facebook saying.
Yeah, because I always keep my messages open so anyone can message me. That's why it takes me so long to get back to everybody, because I have hundreds and hundreds of messages.
And it's complicated for things for us, right? Trying to do actual reporting on the ground. Some of the folks in this community, they don't see a big difference between a YouTuber in the UK or the US and someone reporting for a Canadian newspaper. And so there is a trust that we have to build up with some of these folks, because, in their view, YouTubers and people who are, trying to get clicks for their true crime podcast, who are less concerned about getting it right and are more concerned about just drawing traffic, we have to convince the folks who are talking to us that we're doing things differently, that this is actual journalism, and getting it right is important to us.
We'll be right back.
With Google AI, Destination Canada is giving local businesses the insights they need to grow. Together, we're helping boost tourism from coast to coast to coast. Innovation is Canada's story. Let's tell it together. Find out more at g.co/Canadian Innovation.
One of the questions that kept coming up was, where is the children's biological father? And so in searching for him and his role in their lives, we found his mother, Belinda Gray. When we arrived, she was out with her sun hat on and her gardening clothes. And that's what she does all day to help take her mind off her missing grandchildren. And as soon as she saw us and I introduced myself, just tears came to her eyes. She knew what we were there for. And you could tell she's just carrying the sadness of this mystery with her every moment of the day.
We haven't seen the kids in almost 2 years now.
I'm sorry.
That we had a pretty good relationship up until that point. That after the separation of Malaya and my son, it was not a good separation. That my son distanced himself from the children. We didn't have to agree with that. It was his decision to make. But Malaya knew that this will always be a second home for that. They were our grandkids, so she was more than welcome here whenever she wanted to come by.
What do you remember about the kids? Like, how do we describe them to people who never met them?
They're lively little ones. That Lily is full of life. She's into everything. She's into everything, and she's really girly. But yeah, she used to, whenever she come to visit, she got so used to seeing me in my hats and wearing glasses. So I had to take an old pair of glasses and break the lens out of them so that she could wear them around the house. She liked dolls, she liked stuffed animals, and she just had this prim and proper way of almost like she was posing all the time. But she always reminded me of a little girl that lived in her own dream world. She'd play with her toys and she's chattering away to herself. Now, Jack didn't overly talk a whole lot. He was a very quiet little boy.
Okay.
He was a very quiet, shy little boy, very reserved, at least up until that age, very reserved. But he quietly played with the toys, and he liked the stuffed animals. He played with them, and he loved the toy horse I had there for them.
How did you hear that they had gone missing?
We were in Halifax when we got the news. The mother of another grandchild I have, I guess she's seen it on social media. So right away, she sent a message. It was quite a shocker. I don't think you can make anybody understand.
What struck me about Belinda is that she understood and described a change in Malaya that she noticed over the last few years.
I thought her gift was being a mom.
Mm.
That I really thought that was her God-given gift, that she seemed to just breeze through it. She was actually everything a grandmother could want for a mom.
Really?
Okay.
She was an excellent mom. An excellent mom. She didn't raise her voice. She had more patience than I had as a mom.
Wow. And so what do you think happened?
Things started to change when she met Daniel.
Okay.
That she had told us about meeting him, and that she did believe it was going somewhere. So I was happy for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, well, as long as he makes her happy, because kids are happy if mom's happy.
Yeah.
And we kept in communication that the kids' birthdays and Christmas, that she was staying with her grandmother at that time in Truro.
Yeah.
So we would go there to drop off the kids' birthday gifts or Christmas gifts and visit with them. Then we noticed that it started to change a bit.
And what kind of change did you notice in her?
She started to get distance. That the last visit she had them here, that was in the summer before Jack's birthday, so that probably would have been around July or August.
Mm-hmm.
She did make the comment that it bothered Daniel coming to visit us. That he assumed that she was coming so she could run into Cody. And I thought, well, I mean, they're only young. So we made it clear that, look, if he's got a problem, bring him too.
Do you think that the reason why you haven't seen them in the last 2 years is because of that?
I do feel it's because of him. I do. I mean, she was coming all the time up until she got with him.
And then when she drove to the home the day after the children went missing to help look for them, she was flabbergasted at the state of the home. Malaya appeared totally different to her than she had previously. She wondered what happened in those 2 years.
I was blown away when I found out where they lived.
Why? What is it about that area?
Well, we passed a few times in the last couple of years. And I actually remember seeing the mobile home. And I remember thinking that, my God, they should at least clean the yard up a bit. I'm awful critical of things. It's a shame, but I am. Well,
it's okay.
My philosophy has always been a person can be poor because I don't have money, that I am on the poor side of life. But you fix up what you got. You keep clean what you got. That's just been, so I had no idea. And I made a comment about the trailer twice when we had passed. So Saturday, me and some of my family members took a trip out Saturday to do some searching. And then Monday we had the four-wheeler and we started doing the trails. And we took the trails all up through the pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
And the power lines, that we checked all the trails. And the ribbons were everywhere, that the searchers were all up through the area. The ribbons that you couldn't go within 4 feet without seeing ribbons throughout the woods everywhere. That I did know they were well searched. I still had hope that maybe they were lost in the woods. Then when we come back to the trailer and the cousin met me out in the yard, Daniel's cousin.
Okay.
She met me in the driveway and I asked where Malaya was.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me Malaya wasn't there. And it hit me like a ton of bricks.
What was it about that?
if she could leave, then to me, she knew her kids weren't coming back. Because I know I couldn't leave. I wanted to sleep in my car there. So I wanted to go home then because to me that answered my question that she knew they weren't coming back.
The longer this goes on, Brenda, how worried are you we may not get answers?
That leaves me sick to my stomach. I don't believe my grandchildren are alive. I have resigned myself to that one. But to not get answers, it's like, no. There's answers out there. 2 kids just don't disappear.
I'm so afraid that people will stop talking about it and they'll forget them.
So in August, the Globe and Mail and other media outlets received 13 documents. Whenever police need to, get a warrant or like make a records request access, they have to get an authorization from a judge. And in this case, police had all of those authorizations sealed because of the open court principle, and anything filed in the courts is supposed to be accessible to the public. The Globe and Mail, along with 2 other media outlets, made an application to unseal those documents. And so we successfully did. Some of the information is redacted, but there is quite a bit there. And the records requests were to request parents' bank records, cell phone information, video surveillance from companies to corroborate information that they had already given police. And so some of the information that we found that stood out for us in these documents was that police collected the toothbrushes from the home, that they found a sock and children's boot prints in the woods, that they went to lengthy avenues to identify as being the same type of boot Lily was wearing at the time she went missing. The documents also showed that Malaya and Daniel's polygraph tests were found to have been truthful, and that at that time, police did not believe Lily and Jack's disappearance was a criminal act. Another key thing that came out in the documents is this pink blanket that, has come up in other stories we've reported on. And the key thing about this pink blanket is that it was found a kilometer from the trailer where Jack and Lily disappeared from, and it's perhaps the only physical clue in the case. So what's interesting is that Malaya's sister found this blanket along with 2 other family members the day the children were reported missing in the afternoon. And Daniel originally said that blanket was not Lily's. Malaya said the blanket was Lily's. Then Daniel suggested that the people who found the blanket planted it. So I spoke with Malaya's sister, Haley Ferdinand, who found the blanket, and she denies having planted anything.
We most certainly did not. And that's on everything I have, the person I am. I would not do that in the midst of to obstruct a case for missing children, regardless if they're related to me or not. I would never. So
why do you think Daniel is suggesting that you planted it? He told that to me as well.
Probably because I was the one that was hot on his ass the whole time we were there. Okay. And he didn't like me from the get-go when I got there because he would not speak to any of Malaya's family when we showed up to help the search for Lily and Jack. He'd put his head down. He would ignore us. He would walk away from us. He wouldn't engage in conversation, and I kept at him. Okay. I was there for Jack and Lily, and I'm still here for Jack and Lily.
We're not sure what all of this means, but it's very interesting information and perhaps the only physical clue that the public knows about at this point. And
That blanket, police have told us, has been sent for forensic testing.
Oh gosh, I've not just gone back and forth to the community, but I've gone to many other parts of the province where people that are related to these children live. And sometimes that's just a door knocking mission that may or may not pan out.
And that's one of the challenges with these stories. You can't force people to talk. And we were able to find Malaya's father. So this is the grandfather of Jack and Lily. We found him through an address we obtained from a parking ticket he had in Halifax, right? And got an address outside of Sabanakani First Nation, and went and knocked on his door, and he was happy to talk.
I didn't hear about this. It happened on a Friday. I didn't hear nothing until like a Sunday.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I was really upset.
Have you been interviewed? Like, if the police come and asked?
Nope.
Nothing. Eh?
Never asked me anything.
What do you remember about the kids?
Kids, they were happy.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah?
Yes. Every time I seen them, they always lived at their grandmother's in Truro.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, at their great-grandmother's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That Patty Carter's. That's where I used to go visit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Until this guy moved him away, and that was the last time I seen him.
And so he took us to his mother's house, Connie Brooks, in Indian Brook. It's part of Spaganagity First Nation. So we went to her home and we saw family photos all over the wall, some of Lily and Jack, some of Malaya as a child.
Yeah.
When's the last time that you got to see Lily and Jack?
I seen Lily last year when she brought her up here. Yes, the last time I seen Lily.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when they took them pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Lily and Jack ever learn anything about their Mi'kmaq heritage?
No, because they lived off the reserve.
Okay.
It didn't really come up occasionally, when she brings them up in vision. Yeah.
She brought them up, and did you show them anything?
Yeah, we showed them everything, and then,
And Connie Brooks told us some interesting information. Malaya had been there to get her status card updated. So she is a member of the First Nation, and she visited her grandmother and other relatives. And her grandmother asked her about her relationship with Daniel Martell.
She don't know, but I asked her, did he hurt you? She didn't really say he hurt her, but he held her down. He held her down and took her phone on her, and she couldn't talk. She couldn't be allowed to use the phone.
Yeah, I mean, we can't remove that. The kids, they have Indigenous heritage, and they're on their mother's side. Their grandfather is a member of the Mi'kmaq community. The kids do not have official status with that community, but certainly the Mi'kmaq community has been involved in the search and providing legal assistance to their mother. So it is a part of the story.
I do see the cases connected to missing and murdered Indigenous women and children because, well, for one, Malaya's father brought that very issue up to us and was wearing an orange shirt to raise awareness about missing children. And while there hasn't been a specific outcry about it, I think one thing to consider is that children going missing or being murdered happens more often to Indigenous kids statistically. And so you can't disconnect that these children have gone missing for this long with no answers from their Indigenous heritage.
We know there's still an effort to get more tips from the public. The province offered up to $150,000 as a reward for information that could help police in this case. And that's part of a provincial program designed to kind of get tips for some of the cold cases that are, some of them very historical in Nova Scotia. Police say, though, they have received hundreds of tips already, and they've interviewed dozens and dozens of people. I mean, they are getting information, but so far, the kids still remain missing, and nothing has been able to be that breakthrough piece that they really need.
We are still very much on this case. The school year has started back up. The children are not in their seats on the school bus. They're not in their classrooms with their peers. there's still a lot of questions, and Greg and I plan to continue pressing for answers.
That's it for today. I'm Cheryl Sutherland. Kasia Mihailovich produced this episode.
Okay, hey you guys. This is a new episode on the podcast on Decibel by Globe and Mail, and so it's like 35 minutes long, and then you guys heard Daniel say stuff, and you heard Haley talk about Daniel, but anyways, besides a few pieces in there, it's just heartbreaking beyond repair when you listen to Belinda. And that's why we have to keep fighting. We need to be Jack and Lily's voices for them and keep them out there, bring the awareness, see what happens. Morning, everybody. Again, thank you to the Globe and Mail. Thank you to Lindsay. Greg Mercer, dude. You'll come around. Talking smack about YouTubers, but no. YouTube and news is one of those things that, if you guys watch a lot of these channels like Court TV, News Nation, and stuff like that, a lot of times now, especially in the last year, you'll see a lot of YouTubers on those type of talk shows. It's funny, actually, when you watch like Vinnie Politan and all these different news outlets, even with law and crime, that have their own channels on YouTube as well. Yeah. Hi, Chelsea. Again, thank you to everyone that's being a voice for Lily and Jack. You guys know how much it means to Belinda, who is the only person that's truly fighting for awareness and answers for Jack and Lily out forefront. Because like she said, Daniel pissed her off. The minute Daniel said that he was the only one doing everything, and that nobody else was doing anything, struck a chord with Belinda on that, because obviously wasn't true. But in Daniel's eyes, he believes it to be true, I suppose. He's a one-man band, I suppose, right? Probably in his eyes, he's the only person truly fighting for Jack and Lily. Can't fix stupid. Simple as that. It's not just one person that obviously was trying to find Jack and Lily, or has been trying to find Jack and Lily. So I also have an email that was sent to me, and I'm going to show you guys that as well. So, I was going to share something else too, but I'll go to the email first. Again, you guys, if you guys haven't hit that like and share for Jack and Lily, please do so. The most devastating thing I want to say of this interview is just listening to the emotions. You just feel it tug at your heart when you're listening to Belinda when she's talking. It just breaks your heart every time that you hear when she's just, true emotions. That's what those are called, true emotions. So biggest hugs, Chelsea, to you, your mother, and the fight for Jack and Lily and answers. So let's see here. Stop screen. I'm going to take this off the screen for a second and share. Let me just double check that everything's good to go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll take myself off screen as I bring this up. Okay, so media availability with RCMP, Police Dog Services, Human Remains Detection Team. So September 19th, 2025, members of the media are invited to learn about the human remains detection from RCMP Police Dog Services in advance of searches planned in Nova Scotia. Sergeant Dave Whalen and I think it says PDS kit. I'm going to have to go to my actual thing so I can see this bigger. Okay, there we go. PDS Kit, Inspector Lieutenant Reddy, and PDS NARC will be conducting searches as part of the disappearance into the investigation, you guys, of Jack and Lily Sullivan. The media availability will be held online via Teams when September 19th, so that's today, from 3 p.m. to 3:30 Atlantic time. And of course, the speaker is Stephen Pike and Sergeant Dave Whalen and RCMP Police Dog Services. The media availability is specifically for information and questions relating to human remains detection. Sergeant Pike and Sergeant Whalen are experts of the use of dogs to search for human remains. They're not directly involved in the investigation of Jack and Lily's disappearance. Questions related to the investigation are directed, of course, to the RCMP thing there. Let's see here. Please confirm attendance by 2 p.m. So again, to the media. Let's see here. The RCMP Police Dog section will provide information to the media on human remains detection and in advance of the search in Nova Scotia. Okay, well, I think it's saying the same thing pretty much there. We'll lead the search. Again, will lead the search as a part of the investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack. So just wanted to give you that, guys, that good news on there. So there we go. Yeah, that's good. Good morning. Good morning, Daphne. And so 1 second. So yeah, so good news. Good news. A good day. Good day. Again, answers will be found for Jack and Lily Sullivan, right? We got to remain hopeful that answers will come. Is this being televised? No. Well, no. So what it is that it's a Teams, right? And it's available to the media, right? No, it's for the media. I don't have any sort of media credentials. I know that in the United States, you can just apply to be a media and stuff like that. Has anyone else heard that P's late husband, Bruce, used to be on the board for Children's Aid Society? I don't know how much that truth holds. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Julia, I'm going to say that I got it from my source. So I was sent it. That's all I'm going to say about that. And, you know, I believe sincerity gets you far, you know, that when you have people that truly care about a case and stuff like that, you know. Let me just say, what you put out to the universe, you know, you get back. And whether that's good or bad. And all I know is that there's a good group of people that are fighting for answers for Jack and Lily. And the ones that try to hate and stuff like that, we don't need those people. They can, you know, again, no use for them whatsoever. No one will ever take the focus of what cases are about, which is always about the victims, regardless. Again, people try tear you down and stuff like that. I'm Lily and Jack focused. Like I said, whatever answers arise from Jack and Lily's case, bottom line is we want answers, right? People end up in jail or prison and stuff like that, so be it, you know. they end up being found in the woods and something truly did, happen to them in there? I don't think so. Is it still on the, board? Okay, but very nominally so. What I'm personally witnessing, you guys, is a lot of BS. A lot of BS that shouldn't be happening when people are being truthful. That's how I see it. That's my stance on that, regardless. And I just want answers for Lily and Jack. I know you guys too. And the most important thing is keeping out the awareness for the Lily and Jack, right? So, again, people, it doesn't matter. There's always people that are just going to try to take away from you. I can't be bullied by anybody, right? Lots of times people get in pet peeves and stuff like that. Like they get their little panties in a pinch and stuff like that over cases because they become too involved in what they feel is the truth. And the bottom line is again, whatever the story ends up being, bottom line, it's just we want answers. So some people get so mad because your point of view is so different. And that's not the point. That's not the point of Jack and Lily. The point is having your opinions and thoughts, but we're just waiting for answers. That's what we're waiting for. We're trying to understand what this case, we're trying to understand what we're seeing in this case and what makes sense and doesn't make sense. And a lot of it just doesn't make sense. That's because truth isn't happening. If the truth was happening, we would not be sitting here to this day. Chances are very slim. Daphne, Daphne's case file, she covers this case, of course, cares very much about this case. So again, just keep covering it, keep talking about it, but it's not good news. It's not good news today, you guys, about the dogs. So gonna stop screen. It's good news. Daniel getting his wish. Cadaver dogs. That would be correct, Haley. Okay. So again, let me just quickly go here because I want to share with you guys. Belinda's. Just give me a second here. Where did it go? How it moved? Let me just, 1 second. Belinda, you post so much. Well, let me just go here. I'm just kind of scrolling through Belinda's post after post. Find Lily and Jack. Find Lily and Jack. Chelsea Gray focused on bringing Lily and Jack home. Look it. And this is what we can't forget. We can't forget these beautiful children here. Little Lily. Look at that, you guys. Like, this one always breaks my heart. Remember? Lily unicorns, right? Jack dinosaurs. And the giraffe for Meadow. There was another one I was looking for. Oh, okay. This is some beautiful pieces that people have made I know that I haven't done that video yet. Let's take a look at that. So thank you to all the beautiful people that made rocks, made different things for the children for said video. Look at that little garden. Lily and Jack's little tree garden there. Aw. That's so cute. Look at that, guys. See? Beautiful. Okay. Just, you know what? These are just simple things, right? How keep fighting. But these are just 1 second here. Just a bunch of beautiful things that people have been doing. Oh, there's Belinda's animals in her yard. Okay, here it is. Here's some right here. You know. Is that little Jackie here? There's Belinda. Aw, little Jackie. Jackie boy, Belinda would call. So, just a reminder, you know. What's this one? Oh, I thought it was a dog hurdle thing. Jack and Lily. Oh, Chelsea pushing her daughter. Oh, that's really nice. I didn't see that before. Whoa, I need that one. Somebody did a nice, good job. That's beautiful. Whoever did that did a great job. Gonna have to screen capture that one. Oh, somebody's good with the pencil. Yeah, we'll keep it there for a minute, eh? Well, they haven't said. Oh, hey, Zach. How are you? Zach, come on, come on, come on, come on. More videos, eh, bud? I think you're on number 5, unless you dropped another one. You guys have talked about him. You know, Zach does remote viewing. And he's done the Sebastian Rogers case as well, which you guys know I follow. And as well as Jack and Lily's, he's been putting out videos for that. So, and his channel is simply Zach Jackson. I was going to say Johnson for some reason on there. So anyways, welcome in, guys. Except for just so you know, Zach, for some reason on the computer, when I went to go play, like, because I wanted to show people, right, your videos, but the first one, if I have my earbuds in, I can hear you. But when I went to go play it on, like, the computer, it's like you can't even hear you at all. Not sure if you're aware of that by chance. But if you listen to it on your phone, it's still low, but if you have your earbuds in, you can hear it just fine. Yeah. I'm doing very good. I hope you guys are doing good too. Yep, I'm working on posting Malaya's part 2. Thank you for sharing my information. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, absolutely. I just I appreciate people that do things for the right reasons. And just feel like a genuine person. Yeah. Because because I wanted to play it in order from your first one to your second one. So yeah, and then when I went to go play the first one on the computer, and I tried multiple times, but I had listened to it the night before, Zach, and I could hear it clearly because I had my earbuds in, right? So when I went to go play it on the desktop, I was like, wait, why can't I hear this? You know, I mean, I know some of your videos are kind of low, some of them, a couple of them, but that one, yeah, I just couldn't hear it at all. Yeah. Yeah. Here, I'll just give me a second here. Whoops. Zach. One sec. I'll grab your channel here. There, Zach. Okay. Okay. So if you guys, I don't know again, you know, again, when it comes to like, I am a spiritual person, but I also know that there's a lot of people that claim that they're tarot card readers or claim that there's something like that, you know. But I know that there's really good people that have like I said, from my own personal life, I know that there are good readers or good mediums and stuff like that out there, for sure. So it's one of those things, is that needles in the haystacks to me on this one. But I always look for genuineness all the time, like that you're grounded, and it's just a sincerity behind it. But anyway, so that's Zach's channel right here, you guys. So please go help support him. Hit the subscribe button over there. Yeah, I only ever recommend channels that I actually feel have a genuine heart behind them, you know, and do things for the right reasons. Okay, you know, well, if you could just pinpoint exactly where they are, Zach, you know, just on that one. We could speed up this, and we don't even need the cadaver dogs anymore, to be honest with you. But anyway, so again, good news about the dogs and the search team and stuff like that. Again, you know, hey Daniel, you wanted cadaver dogs? Let's do it. Let's do it. Right? We got the please bring me home, but who knows, right? Again, see how this all goes and transpires. But again, the media outlets were invited to the media availability on Teams, like the email that I just showed you guys. And again, the video is on Decibel podcast by Globe and Mail, Jack and Lily Sullivan. It's 35 minutes long and stuff like that. Yeah, not really sure where Cape George is. I'd have to look at it on the map. I meant to, but then I get sidetracked so easy. You should email that article you read last night for Belinda to share in all the Facebook groups and RCMP. Maybe give them a different outlook. The article. So you should email that article you read last night. Shoot. That's what lack of sleep does, eh? Freaking what article did I read last? Oh, that article. Oh, you're talking about Gemini. My bad. Totally went south there. You're talking about the Gemini and stuff like that. But, well, I mean, I could, to be honest with you. I still feel like, again, you know, we're just simply waiting for answers, right? But again, I don't find this to be a very truthful case at all. I think that myself, to think that the children are hidden, it's not my line of thinking. Again, like I said last night, you know, either Daniels are one of the most innocent guilty person or guilty, you know, or guilty, because what that man's been doing and all the fabrications that's been going on, and the mistruths and lies and lack of, brain cells or amnesia, collectively there with all of them. It just, no. Sorry. It's just one of those things again. I believe something happened within those walls of that home. And, we'll just have to see. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. At the end of the day, whatever the answer may be, it's still Jack and Lily focused. I'm just going to take a quick look at what you guys are saying. Other than that, so I didn't, like I said, overly sleep. I had maybe 2 hours. I woke up at like 12:43. I was waiting for the article to come out, waiting for the episode to come out. And then I was like, husband, don't you need to go to work now? Come on now, shoo, so I can do her live. Yeah, Gemini. Yeah, sorry, Shemina, man. My brain flip-flopped there. I was like, what did I read yesterday? Yeah. And again, and the whole Gemini thing, I've been using it myself before I was even sent that. I just take the episodes, the documents, and sputter them into Gemini and ask it to give me a, timeline, conclusions, thoughts, basically on it as well. And I find it very, God, as soon as you put it in, it's like, boom, done. Little bit. But it's my day off today and tomorrow. So today I have time to do, I had time to stay awake. I'll get some sleep later, eh? As you get older, just so you know, you don't need as much sleep, okay? Seriously, you don't. Me, I'm a kind of a 4-hour sleeper, 6 hours tops. But after 4 hours, I always wake up. And you know what? The time, I don't know about you guys, right? But besides 11:11, I always see, and I've seen it since I was 26, because that's when I recall it, more like 24, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. You have no idea how many times I look at the clock and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I can remember back, and this is going back like 20 years ago, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, obviously I was 26. So, oh shit. I was 24. Dang, man. I was like 30 something years ago. Wow. But I always just remember waking up to the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On there. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. Thank you for the stuff that you're doing as well. Appreciate that. Appreciate anyone that again is there's lots of creators out there. Everyone does things for whatever reasons. Mine will always be for the right reasons. Always. And I know nobody can take that away from me. Even if they try, still doesn't work, right? When you really care about people and just wanting truth and answers, and you just want to fight for what's right, and Jack and Lily are children. They're innocent. They deserve way better than what has happened so far. They deserve the family to be speaking out for them, to bring awareness to the case. They deserve it. And so nothing comes to me in front of children. Children and pets are innocent. They don't have a voice for themselves. So we need to be voices for them. But especially in this case, these children need our help. They need us to keep being vocal. They need us to keep their story, active, because you don't want to see it fall to the wayside. You just don't. There's tons of cases out there. But Jack and Lily's, obviously touched my heart, touched your guys' heart. And that's why you guys have been following it, especially being from Canada. It's, again, to have these type of cases in Canada is rare, unlike the United States. But it's just, again, this is our home. This is our homeland. Got to fight for our children, protect our children. And the CPS thing, I think, says a lot. I think the whole relationship says a lot, to be honest with you. This was not, to me, in my opinion, a good relationship. Is that Julia? I guess you'll have to wait to find out. on there, but it's for the media. So I'm pretty sure that all the media that's in the Nova Scotia area are definitely all going to be there. Yeah, it's about darn time for the cadaver dogs. Yeah. Again, just want answers for Jack and Lily. But what I am tired of seeing, and I said this yesterday, okay? What I'm really tired of seeing is Daniel, Janie, and Darren. And Malaya's to the opposite side because she's not the one being really vocal out here, right? She's doing her own weird thing over there, to the left. But what I am tired of seeing is watching Daniel, Janie, and Darren, that they all keep wanting to push this hidden narrative. Like, it's like they want to shove it down our throats. And on top of that, they want us to believe this timeline of inconsistencies, right? Fabrications. But when they're out here joining into conversations and they are only truly trying to justify themselves on their attacks, instead of talking it and making it about Jack and Lily, you guys don't find that that's quite ridiculous that these three grown-ass adults that are out there, sitting there popping in now, and Darren's and Janie's becoming all vocal and stuff like that. Like I said, again, the inconsistency started because of Daniel. He couldn't tell a straight story. It was life depended on it, and then Darren joined forces, right? And then they added more twists and bullshit to this whole hidden thing. Malaya was at the end of the driveway, this timeline, and we've had almost 5 months to watch them keep inserting stuff, right? Like that big post that Daniel did recently, and he sent that one, and it was like, and guess what, you guys? The chairs were not moved. I think that was strange. Malaya, right? The children, nothing's moved. Everything's about Malaya. Malaya's laundry left at Patty's now. It's just all these things. But the biggest thing that bugs me is that they're not being proactive for Jack and Lily. They're being proactive for themselves to sell us their BS. However you feel about Daniel, Malaya, Durwood, Dickwood, whatever, Janie, however you guys feel about them is totally up to you. But I'm saying from my point of view, I'm sorry. There's a sucker born every minute, and I don't think I have a big L on my forehead that says lollipop. So with all the BS and watching how they're acting, and it's not about Jack and Lily. The fight is not for Jack and Lily. The fight is for themselves, and to keep proving to you guys that they're being truthful and that Malaya and her family have done something with the children, that they're hidden somewhere. Don't buy it for a second. I don't buy that the children are alive for a second. That's my opinion personally, right? Like I said, other channels might feel differently. Okay, absolutely. But that's my opinion on this personally. No, there's too many. It's too much. There's too much data and people coming forward, money rewards, no citing, all this stuff that it's been. And the longer a case goes on, just like you can just go ask Gemini yourself or ask a police officer, the longer a case goes on, the less likelihood that is even true, right? And we're almost at the 5-month mark. And you don't think in 5 months that something would have slipped with all these people that would have had some sort of knowledge of where Jack and Lily are? They're not tucked underneath of a freaking canoe somewhere heading off to China, people. That the data that the police would have, they ain't that smart for that shit. Okay? They're smart enough to live in a rural area to cover it up because they don't need to go to no store. And that's what I keep saying too. It's just, I'm telling you guys, each to your own thoughts, but rural area, right? They didn't take their phones during their search. So why would they take them if allegedly or possibly that they went and a cover-up happened because something unintentional happened that night? right? Why do you think the police are having such a hard time? Why don't we know about Jack and Lily right now? Why? If there's very little evidence to show, right? So let's just hypothetically say children got into meth, smothered, pushed in a fight, whatever, right? Let's just say that. Again, is there all this mess to clean up? Absolutely not. Items that they have on the property, shovel, bins, right? Easy to dispose of. What do they need? Leave their phones there. They're in a rural area. The only thing now they need to do is go hide 2 bodies, right? Well, look at the massive woods there. It's 6 times during the hours of 12 to 5 that the neighbor said that approximately 6 times, right? We're talking about 25, 30-minute intervals, okay? Back and forth, right? Neighbor talks about it because children are involved. It was weird. It was reported on May 8th. Malaya says that Daniel's up tweaking all night on meth, wakes up. But in her statement, she doesn't say that. She acts like she was asleep the whole entire time. Sorry. Like I said, you might fool some of the people some of the time, but you'll never fool all the people all the time. And all I see is just a bunch of BS and lies and cover up. That's how I see this. There's nothing truthful to me about this case. Anyways, that's my thoughts. And that's the same thing I was saying last night. I went over that Gemini article and stuff like that. Again, it's kind of like, to me, their whole story really broke down because they couldn't keep a consistent story if their life depended on it, and now as time keeps going on, like I'm saying, look at them, just keep inserting stuff, into there. They just keep inserting it because now they have the time to back up to the start and go, oh, let me just plunk this here. Okay, let me talk about the table and chairs not moving, and the apples and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, but all I see is people that are self-motivated by their own means, and they're not fighting for Jack and Lily. They are not fighting for Jack and Lily. That is clear. Do you ever look at what they say, right? You ever watch them beak off lately again, telling people to F off and calling them all stupid? They're the ones representing Jack and Lily, and that's what they're doing. You got Darren beaking off at the hilt all the time, sailor's mouth over there. And yeah, how embarrassing to be fighting for Jack and Lily and acting like that. When you sit there and you come into the pond and then you play with the sharks and stuff like that, and you're wanting people to believe in what you're saying, well, maybe if you started with some sort of truth from the beginning, right, and kept the similar story. But no, it's just been inserting stuff. So you can't tell me that this case isn't full of a lot of muddied waters with a bunch of mess. Yeah, I can, Zach. Selfish people do. Selfish people that are trying to save their own asses, in my opinion. Those are the type of people that do that care more about themselves than these actual children. Yeah. Why do I think Durwood got so involved? I think he's just I think when people found out, like, I'm just going to kind of go by why is everyone sending voice? You guys, Charmaine and Kent, you guys having a big old voice chat there on there. But anyways, I think that Darren's original intent was that, well, hold on a second here. Darren has a past. We'll say that. We'll leave it at that. Okay, Darren? We'll leave it at that. Okay, Darren? But he claims that he got into it for, the sake of wanting to know what happened to these children, right? He's related, maybe he had nothing better to do than to insert himself, really. He knows Patty, that's his cousin, whatever. And he was trying to get information, right? Basically, Cindy shut him down. Malaya shut him down. Patty, though, of course, well, you guys all know what Patty said in the comments, right? Do I really need to spell out to you why those comments are so that she doesn't really have a time memory, right? Right? Okay. So obviously her memory is not good, let's just say. Not good. Okay? But anyways, so the whole thing became about, something was amiss, right? He thought Daniel had something to do with it, that Malaya's side was acting weird, his own side, and then basically, again, I mean, I can't speak for the man, just besides what my perception is that he seemed to come off like he really wanted to find out answers. Now he's just, to me, sucking ass with Daniel, and they've just come up with this BS story. And I don't know, I can't speak for him, but it's so ridiculous of what they're trying to present happened. And Darren might fully believe it in his own heart, like that he's believing in Daniel and this whole, Malaya took them, okay? Daniel, just look at the thing then, because it's saying that Malaya, Wade, Cindy all passed the lie detector test. So if you don't believe that, then why are you, or if you do believe that, then why are you still convinced that Malaya and her family had something to do with it? Again, it's getting stuffed down our throat, okay? That's how I feel about it. They're trying to stuff this down our throat as if it's true. What I call this is a bullshit. It's a misdirection of the truth. As for Darren, whatever that guy does, whatever, let him reap what he sows, with regards to how he's handling things in this case and stuff like that. Again, he's like one of my least people I could literally give two shits about, honestly, to what he says, because even when he was repeating stuff, he was saying things wrong. And so again, you don't know who to believe with any of them. But what I don't believe is their timeline of events at all, and again, the truth isn't hard. Daniel, how many times have you said to us that it's the truth? If you tell them the truth, right, then it stays the same. Okay, Mr. Blanket Man. Okay, Mr. Two-Shirt Man. Okay, Mr. The blanket and two shirts or anything didn't belong to you or the kids. Okay, dude, seriously. What I don't get is how someone could be that dense, because they must be so far up their own butt narcissistically that they can't see what other people are seeing with his personality traits and what he's trying to do. All you have to look at is, what are they doing for Jack and Lily? What are they doing truly? Right? All they're doing is accusing Malaya and her family of doing something. Plant here, it's over there. Right? Now, I still think personally that they all know what went on that particular night into the morning time. And again, that's just my opinion. But Jack and Lily, we need to be their voices, regardless if you think that they're hidden, that they're up in the sky in a UFO, if you think that they're out in the woods still, if you think that they're on a genie carpet ride somewhere, right? Doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, maybe someone will come forward. Maybe someone won't. Who knows? But we have to have answers for Jack and Lily. They deserve it. Like, that's the bottom line of it. They deserve it. So why are we watching these, these adults that are claiming that they're fighting for Jack and Lily? Why do they care so much about themselves and the perception of how people think about them? Why? What does that matter? Right? If you're fighting for your children, are you going to matter really too much what the public says about you? Because if you're honest and truthful, right, and you're just truthfully, genuinely, in despair and distraught, and you're fighting for your children to find them, you're going to be begging for help, right? you're going to be asking. You're not going to wait 2 months before you talk about a stapler that you have, or that your vehicle's working after a couple months and stuff like that, and being like, yeah, I got a stapler now. Like, who makes jokes? Like I said, I made a joke of Daniel for the KFC thing and stuff like that, because I thought it was ridiculous that in the midst of it, people that are bringing awareness to the case, and because I piss him off, which I like that I do, is that, he's sitting there telling me to go freaking give birth to a KFC bucket. And I did. That's why I made that video, just to show you guys that I could use that and turn it around into awareness for Jack and Lily, and show that, who does this stuff when 2 children are missing. Yep. The thing is that I don't understand, like, this hidden thing. I did for a while, because Malaya's actions are weird, more than just that, but actions are weird. So, okay. But when you look at it logically, it's Occam's razor, people. Occam's razor. I'm sorry. I'm so way behind on comments and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll check out Cape George and see where that is on the thing. Still no report. No, but I don't know that we're going to hear that, right, Jackie? I don't think that they're going to be telling us about, if anything, like, meaning if they find anything that even insinuates to something to do with the fact that the people on the property have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack, that's when you'll know about that blanket afterwards on there. What was the altercation on the driveway about? The second one. That was something about car keys. Malaya, someone about Malaya's vehicle getting towed. I can't remember. I'd have to listen to that again. I guess I always seem to block that one out of my head because it wasn't as relevant as the first one, I guess. But yeah, there was like the second altercation kind of thing. But that was something to do with car keys, and I think trying to get Patty off the property and stuff like that. I'd have to go back and listen to that, to be honest with you. But it was something more nominal compared to the first part. And that's why it's like I've listened to it like 5-6 times on that particular part, and I keep forgetting exactly what that one was about. Yeah, well, you know what? It won't shock me that these 2 toxic people got together. And, when you guys would know this, like a lot of couples would know this. So I have always chosen even my husband now a little bit. Yeah. No, but not the same way. But, when you kind of like are with procrastinators, right? Like, I was never a procrastinator, but Dion and my ex-husband, Steve, were both procrastinators, right? And it's like, I'd always make that expression, like, never get done today what you can do tomorrow, right? Because it never got done today. Never. Everything was always here. Let me do this for you. Let me call the Alberta Healthcare at the time and stuff like that. Let me do this and stuff like that. Procrastinators. And then after a while, you start falling into their mold, right? Because of what they're doing, it almost like pulls you down as well. And then you start becoming a procrastinator. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. You got, Belinda, who's talking very highly of Malaya. And then she's like, and then it just changed. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But, obviously Malaya got into this zone with Daniel that was toxic. That was not good, And again, perhaps who knows what Malaya was doing. You could almost feel like she was depressed as shit. It seemed like in that relationship. I mean, how many times did somebody want to leave, right? Daniel, of course, trying to pin her down, stop her from going. And he's just narcissist, right? Sometimes you just fall into that, you just fall into that zone as well. And what I do feel is, I do feel like Malaya lost sight of who she was, lost sight of a lot of things. And I do feel like the children were not attended to properly. Possibly Meadow was, but I don't think Jack and Lily. I think when Daniel talks about that, I think I do believe that I don't think that these children were properly taken care of. I would be very curious how many sick days they had from school. I just think that yeah, they could have definitely been a lot better taken care of. I hate anything to do with children being neglected or hurt in any which way, shape, or form. Children are beautiful. They're gifts. And it doesn't matter. Looking at these two children, they're there one moment, oops, gone the next. And so what do we see before us? We see a bunch of freaking clowns, really, just sitting there popping in and out going, oh, yeah, but you're trying to make us look bad because this. No, you make yourselves look bad first and foremost because you guys aren't advocating for Jack and Lily. You're giving us bullshit excuses why you didn't attend a vigil, why you're not, Daniel will sit there and be, I'm the one that talks to the news all the time. And Janie's like, oh, yeah, after 2 months, you know what? I finally did it. Darren just, stood by me there and he probably helped me through it. And now I just have all this relief that I want to get off my chest. And listen to her talk to people in these chats. Like, listen to that woman. Okay. There's not really a nice bone in her body when she's speaking. She's an angry bird is what she is. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it, Danielle? Right? I think that Earl and Justin are from a different breed of the family there. But I think that Daniel and his mother are from that same, you are a product of your environment, right? But I see, a mother that would fight tooth and nail and even lie for her son, in my opinion, right? No one wants to see their own child go somewhere and stuff like that. But I just see a bunch of people that just keep popping into chats that are boring the shit out of me now. And because, all they're doing is the same thing. Are you making it about Jack and Lily? Or are you trying to justify your timeline and what happened and blaming it all on Malaya as if Malaya is guilty of hiding these children? Is that your narrative, right? Is that the truth? Shit. Okay, I wasn't expecting to go on a spiel, people. I just get really upset when people play games during missing persons cases, but children especially. Doesn't matter if it's Jack and Lily's case or not. Whenever anyone plays games around children and it's clear as day, that pisses me off because that means that they don't give two fucks about these children. It means what they care about is themselves and saving their own asses, in my opinion. That's how I see it. No farther than Cape Breton on there. So I got to scroll down. I'm probably like, oh no, I'm not too far. Daniel is, Daniel is Janie's child. I'll give him that, and then the woman, sorry, but she contradicts herself, right? She says she stays out of their business. And then by the same token, she says that she knows what's going on there all of the time. I can hear everything from my camper. I know everything that goes on. Yeah, exactly. And then the day that Daniel put the blanket into the garbage bag, the same one that's to the blanket that was found in the tree, that one, right? Right. Again, what happened there, guys? Blame Malaya, blame Malaya, blame Malaya. Wolf, hi. How? One sec, Ashlyn. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. So, Ashlyn, if you weren't here for that, that's absolutely true. So that I have an email that talks about that the RCMP have invited media. And that oh God, I have to go back and read it. Let me I'm not gonna pop it up on screen. Hold on a second. let me just do that. 1 second. 1 second. I'll pop it back up on screen for a minute. Just for people that maybe didn't see it. But yeah, that's great news. Yeah. Yeah. Is that Charmaine? Hey troll. What the heck does she want? Charmaine, I was neglecting everybody. Trust me. I had to scroll all the way down because I was too busy talking. Yeah. I'm gonna give you up for adoption. You're too needy. You're too needy. On there. Okay. So I'll put this. Hey, don't make me pull out the freaking little turkey. Okay, so let me just go back to this, guys. Okay, so September 19, 2025, Nova Scotia members of the media are invited to learn about human remains detection from RCMP police dog services in advance of searches planned in Nova Scotia. Okay, so in advance of searches planned in Nova Scotia, Sergeant Dave Wallen and PDS Kit and Inspector Luke Reddy and PDS NARC will be conducting searches as part of the investigation into the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan. The media availability will be held online via Teams, okay? And so Teams is September 19th. That's today, 3 p.m. to 3:30. Where? Teams, obviously, okay? The media's availability is specifically for information and questions relating to human remains detection. And so, yeah. So just to share that back with you guys again. So, no, that's just it. Okay? That's just it. Right? They don't believe that the children are alive. Right, Jess? Holy shit. Exactly. Right? This is what we want. We want answers. Simple as that. Do they believe that they're alive? No. I mean, you heard that even in the podcast when Greg and Lindsay were talking about it, that the police don't believe that these children are hidden. They're looking for bodies. Okay? Bodies. That's what they're looking for. Yeah? I mean, again, those documents went up to the 16th of July. Okay? We are over 2 months of those documents coming out. Yes, Ryan Hunt. Absolutely. Same thing, same person. Durwood, Dickwood, Darren, whatever. On there. He has multiple names. Now you're making me start thinking about that picture where it says I love RCMP officers. Where did that picture go? Oh, 1 second. Image file. So it's good news you got. What? Charmaine, what? Are you wanting my attention, Charmaine? Are you wanting my attention? Yeah, that's my actual name. And Sunny is my nickname from my mom. Now, no more lies. You know what? To be honest with you, you're actually a joke. You are a two-faced piece of crap yourself there, dude. Okay? I've watched you in other chats. I'm even amazed that I left you this long in this chat. So thank you. I have said my name multiple times and that my nickname is Sunny off of my mom. But go ahead, no more lies. Go ahead. Act like people didn't know that. And if they didn't, guess what? Now they do too, right? Like I said, when you got nothing to hide, you don't give a shit. So let's just block your ass because you are a big loser and you are a two-faced nobody. That means nothing to nobody besides maybe your mama. That's about it. So let's just block you. There we go. I was waiting for that person. Every time I just wanted to block his ass. Her ass, his ass. I think it's a his ass or whatever. Now, Charmaine, did you need me? I don't know where Belinda is. Maybe she's in here, but she's not in here. I don't know. But, she has it on her Facebook. She knows. Yeah. 1 second. 1 second. See, this is where Kent, you're too lazy to bring your butt up here to be my wingman. Well, Charmaine can't be. So now I got to try to look at messages while I'm on the live. What's this? Yeah, I saw that. But I don't understand. Like, we've been talking about this. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? And go on, Jess. Go on. Go tell no more lies that. Good morning, Diamonds. Tell them what you really feel. When people I find it the funniest though when people sit there and try to do stuff like that. But I watched that jerky for a while now. And I was going to ban him a few times, to be honest with you. Now was the perfect day. Guess what, you guys? My real name is Sonia. I'm a nickname Sunny because my mom always called me Sunny or Sunshine. Heaven forbid. Call me out. Let's see. Sunny Austin. I go by that name, Sunny Austin, in my real life. Sunny Austin. Yeah, pretty sure I'm not coming underneath a name like No More Lies. I'm not this fictitious person. In my opinion, Daniel is jack of all trades, master of none. Perfectly said. Right. Jess, I'll just say it was sent to me. It's obviously it's from the news, right? Because that's what it is, all the media. So obviously it's from the news. I'm just not obviously going to say specifically because, obviously there's only so many news people in Nova Scotia there. And, you guys know that this channel has talked to a few from the different stations. Bottom line is that doesn't matter where I got it. It's the fact that what they're going to be doing. That's what's going to news about the RCMP dogs. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting just saying it. Oh, that yours is from the March 4th. Yeah. I don't think it really matters, to be honest, where it came from. Its bottom line is it's what's in it that matters. I got a message that said remains were found. So I freaked out for receipts, and that's what was sent to me. Obviously, false alarm. Well, we'll see how people twist this shit, but we'll see how that goes. Again, it just boils down to answers for Jack and Lily, right? That's what we're just fighting to be heard. We're fighting for the voices for Jack and Lily. So yeah, come on, cadaver dogs. Come on, search teams. Let's do it. The way it's worded on Facebook had me thinking remains were. Oh, is that? Oh, is that? Okay, I see. You know, I get it. I get that. But I'm not one of these people that just hide, right? Like, meaning I'm just a person that, like I said, you can ask me whatever pretty much, and I'll tell you anything pretty much about myself. Stuff like that. I'm not going to sit there and go out and tell you where I live, where I work, and stuff like that. That would be stupid, because obviously we see what happens. But, as for using my name and stuff like that, that doesn't bug me myself. I'm not like an idiot like Darren that literally, said his full name, and all that stuff going across and add freaking everything. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, doggies. Again, we've been talking about cadaver dogs. I don't know if this was a day late and $1 short of course, because cadaver dogs should have been brought in, like actual cadaver dogs. There's none of this. Like I said, people that are on the hidden side of this whole thing, right? Sorry, they're looking for bodies, people. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for bodies, right? If they were looking for hidden children, this would be going down a whole different avenue. But it's not. Now they're going to be bringing in these. Why? Because they're not looking for children that are alive. They're just not. And that's not because Belinda, she's realistic. I'm realistic. A lot of you guys are realistic, right? Most people do not believe that these children are alive still. They want to believe that they're alive still. I'll grant that. And I don't blame anyone, right, for wanting that. Who wouldn't want that? Who would want to think that these children were harmed in any which way, shape, or form? Who would want that? I've told you guys a few times that when I do podcasts and stuff like this, or, lives, I have to block myself from, even though it's hard, because when you think about the reality of this situation, these are two beautiful children. Actual real children that are missing. And that sucks. That sucks that these children are facing this ridiculous stuff going on online. How it's being portrayed by Daniel on the news is different than what he's trying to say here online. It's a whole different ball of wax, right? I don't see him blaming Malaya and that on the news, saying that Malaya, has the children hidden somewhere. No, it's a game. It's a game. One of these days, the game's going to be over. Well, we don't want to compose. Why did I hit that? Yeah, that came in really huge, like a huge file that I can't even look at the full thing. But yeah, I've seen this. A lot of people have showed me this, to be honest, but I already seen it already. Oh, there, if I click on it. That's the one where it says the investigative team for the Northeast Nova Major Crime Unit has referred this matter to me for support in seeking your consideration for its inclusion to the program, as they believe that they are individuals who are privy to the information that could result in locating Jack and Lily. Absolutely, I remember that. The wordage of that and stuff like that. It's it's actually tagged in the pinned comment, to be honest with you. If you do want to renew your membership or whatever. $1.99, are you out of your mind? Can't even buy a KFC bucket with that, can I, Tinkerbell? Right? Whatever. But these losers keep saying, well, you're in it for the money. Let's go tell the news that you guys are in it for the money. I'm not going to watch you or read you anymore because you guys are in it for the money. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously businesses like that are in it for the money. They are looking for the bodies. Why no arrests? Because they don't got any bodies yet. Right? I'm telling you, the lack of evidence is because, to me, is because it happened on the property. And again, it's rural. Okay? They already told you they didn't take their phones when they went searching in the morning. Why the frick would they take phones with them, right? If they're going to hide bodies. So you're going to need a vehicle. They're going to need something that's not going to really show the vehicle on cameras and stuff like that. But it's not like you have doorbell cameras every freaking house over like you do in Sebastian Rogers' case. Again, the evidence here will be within the children when they are found, because I can guarantee you that I think that there's not going to be this banking stuff that's going to matter, right? This isn't, to me, something that was planned but happened, right? Which resulted in either the death of one or both, for sure, type of thing. That's my opinion. What do they need? What do they need? The going and doing laundry on the Wednesday won't matter. None of that information will matter, right? Because it would be like multiple crimes in this world where you got a very dense forest with everywhere. You got a rural home that has shitty cellular service. So it's just depends on, you honestly think that night they're texting to their, hey, mother, children are dead, over Rover, come over, please, right? No, there's not going to be this trail of text messaging to each, stuff like that. If something happened on the property, no banking information, right? No texting and all that stuff is going to be done if the people on the property have any involvement in Jack and Lily's disappearance. It's just going to be a matter of a shovel, garbage bags, bin perhaps, and dump somewhere, right? So where's all this evidence, right? Because they're not... Thanks, Jess. You know what? I truly do hope, though, that because of what's going to proceed now with cadaver dogs and stuff, I really do hope when they, again, I really do hope people stay focused on truly what happened to Jack and Lily. And if they're bringing in dogs, right, they're not going, oh, well, I think they're on a reservation somewhere. Or no, okay? They're going to tell you everything's on the table. Of course. Of course they're going to say that. Something smells really good. It's almost like when somebody walks by you and they have a really good cologne or something, like, I don't know what it is, but it's freaking good. Anyways, all I'm going to say, if this isn't telling, I don't know what is, to be honest with you. I'm just on a straight line for Jack and Lily's answers and stuff like that. And to me, that's not that they're hidden. Mm-mm. Okay, now just to ask you guys in here quickly, just to ask you, and don't be afraid to say that you still believe that they're hidden. Just put 1 if you think that they're hidden, and 2 if you don't and you think that they're dead. 2 dead, 1 hidden. Just, I want to see where people are at mostly. Like usually whenever this is, it's usually family involvement. But, people aren't, but obviously family involvement can mean both ways. Okay. So I just want to see where people are truly sitting, and don't be afraid to put one if you are a one, right? Because you're allowed to think that still. I just like to think about the facts and what's possible and what's not possible. And that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm just kind of seeing where people are kind of going with this still. Right. It's not that I'm right and you're wrong. Again, I'm just looking at what I see and what's going on. But at the end of this, well, I think that them bringing in dogs, and by even what the episode, when they said, like, that the police don't believe that these children are hidden somewhere. We know that theory is going on, they said, but they're looking for bodies. Oops. Then this comes out. Yeah. It's more realistic to think that they would not put this type of money into something if they thought that they were hidden. They just wouldn't. Well, however the answer turns out for all this, whether family involvement, which, like I said, I believe so. Based on everything I've seen, something hasn't shown me different. I would not ever want to think that there is, but I'm sorry. It happens all the time that parents are involved or someone close to them are involved. It's like almost like a normal thing more than an abnormal thing. Well, that's just it. I mean, again, we don't know what they do know, but again, perhaps DNA, like I said, I'm sure that there's evidence, and on the bodies, right? Right? So it all depends. It will come down to digital, whatever there is, and DNA, right? It depends on how much they have to work with, really. But that doesn't mean my theory's right. I just think it's the most logical for why there's been no answers. And the Occam's razor is the route that is almost always the way it happens. None of this weird other stuff, okay? It's just, it's so rare to have something go so crazy and weird like this. But there are cases like that. And Lori Vallow case is one. But anyways, who knows? Who knows, Big North Marty? We can only hope and pray that if someone or some people or whatever is responsible, that the justice will be served. Right? I have faith. I got faith in the RCMP. I do. Even if I don't think that maybe that certain things myself that could have been done better, there's always, in most cases, where they can say things could have been better, right? We're talking about a small place that doesn't deal with this type of stuff, no different than Delphi. Things get missed. Things aren't handled necessarily the right way because it's not a big town. It's not a big city where this is like dealing with cases and liars and all that stuff is a normal occurrence, right? This is a small town. Doesn't really deal with anything to do with these type of incidences too much. They're not, right? It's like them going out and being dive teams, right? How much really experience do they get out there and do diving? They have to do their hours, but how many cases really do they have to use the dive teams in those, locations and that versus the people that do it for a living all day long, right? There was Malaya who refused to go for another polygraph. Her lawyer said no. I don't know. I don't know about that, but but Malay is the one that told Belinda that 2 people refused. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, unless there's receipts to back that stuff up, it's just like anything, right? Just more information. Okay. I might do another live tonight. I'll see how Kent and Charmaine feel, if they want to talk about anything for today and stuff like that. But probably going to need a little bit of sleep. And plus the sun's coming in. And then soon enough, it's going to take over my entire face. On there. But anyways, I think I'm going to, leave it at that for now. Thank you guys. Again, just do me a favor. If you have not hit that like and share button, like I said, let's just keep focused on being a voice for Jack and Lily. And yeah. Well, again, I mean, I'm gonna assume right soon here. What does that email say again? Not that one. So they're having their thingy dig today. I see. Something is said. Okay, it just says that planned in Nova Scotia. So basically, so it's probably going to happen soon, obviously. So today is the team's meeting with the media, right? And all it's saying is that the media are invited to learn about the human remains detection for the RCMP police dog services in advance of searches planned in Nova Scotia. Okay? And they're probably going to do that. Oh, see, there comes the sun. It's coming at me, guys. See that? On there. But anyways, so I'm thinking that they're going to get at her, right? Why the weather? What is Zach's channel, please? It's right here. Zach Jackson. Whoops. Right there. Okay. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to get going for now. Thank you guys so much. Again, bless again to Belinda. Thank you again to Lindsay for letting me know about the decibel. I actually didn't know what the decibel was, to be honest with you, on there. And so I just want to say a big thank you to all you guys as well that are here to support Jack and Lily, whether it's this channel or another channel. Just keeping their names and voices out there. All right, guys. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good one. I'll quickly play, because as a reminder, I'll just quickly play that little video file that I keep playing recently with Russell McDonald's video. It's hard to watch.
In the woods where shadows lay, Jack and Lily went to play. On a rainy May afternoon, now we whisper hope soft too. Echoes of laughter fill the air, but where are they? We stand in prayer. Oh, Jack and Lily, where have you gone? We'll hold on tight through this endless dawn. In our hearts forever you'll stay. With every prayer we send your way.